Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. Hey, Nix. You're not early. You're right on time. You know what time it is. Game dev time. Saturday, 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 Saturday. We have fun here. Welcome to episode 335 of Digital Iliad. We're working on an FTL-like made in Godot by way of an FTL light that we're working on made in Godot. And Nix is never late, nor is it early. It arrives precisely when it means to. Checks out. Yesterday was our 400th video, which would mean it was our 400th stream. I just looked at my YouTube today and it was like, you have 400 videos. And I'm like, huh. That indicates that like maybe 20%, 15 to 20% of our videos have not been in this series. They're usually game jams. I think we've started tightening that up. But I'm pleased. Every number is numerically significant. 20%? I don't know, because we've done 335. I didn't actually do the math. This was like napkin math. But if, 60 something of them out of 400, 60 something of them, 65 of them, 64 of them, something like that, weren't in this series. That's like what, 15 to 20%, somewhere in there. We're tightening it up. We're tightening it up. We used to like, spend a whole week playing Ludum Dare games. You know what really got us was the 2 months we spent working on the remastered version of A Following Wind, which I'm really glad I did, but I have not done that since. I don't know if it was it was like 2 months. It was almost 2 months straight. That was a long time ago now. Almost 2 years ago. I think that's responsible for the vast majority of them. That's probably half of them, and then all the other game jams I've done are probably the other half. Plus 1 Let's Play RimWorld. And 2 Let's Plays of Void War. $19.4. Okay. See, I wasn't that far off. The trick to looking like you can do math is to not be too specific. But yeah, we're working on an FTL-like. This has been a wild intro. And yeah, we're working on replacing our selection and cursor block overlays with something a little nicer. It's more complex, but it's nicer. Because right now you can see this highlighted white area. We think of it in 2 different ways. We think of where's the cursor? Like this is the area that the cursor is actively boxing, right? And then we also think of it in selections. So like here's, if I let go, this becomes a selection. And then I can add to it. And so this is both, this is the active cursor area, this is the selection, which is why they overlap. You can add to the selection. And replace the selection. So we want to, right now we do this really kind of over the top, semi-transparent thing. And I know I'm not supposed to be working on something like this. We should be doing something more substantial, but we mocked something up that looked interesting, and I'm kind of following it to its logical conclusion here, which is something we kind of need to stop doing, but it's still March. Whatever that means. Oh, we need to fix this this issue with the auto tiler. How these corners kind of appear randomly in certain circumstances. Honestly, we should probably fix that first before we try to replace the art. Because it's going to be harder to tell, I think, with the new art that's happening. Although maybe not. Maybe it'll be easy to tell. It kind of implies that the other thing is doing the same. Which is hard to validate. Yeah, like how do I... So it would be like this. Then I scroll into this and somehow I'm able to cut this away. How would I be able to do that? Yeah, it's actually really hard to get that to show up, huh? I'd have to open this up. I have to open this back up. You sent me a Know Your Meme page about the reference. Yeah, because you were like, you made a reference, and I'm like, did I? I'll take your word for it. And thanks for sending the, you know, the information, I guess. Okay, so if we have this kind of open cutaway, it's a lot easier to see the problem. Like if I select a bunch of this and then I openly cut it away, we start to see a problem somewhere, right? 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 Hope you're having a good day, Nix. This is a fun shape. I'm just looking for that outline problem. Oh, there's one. There should be a corner piece there. That's a problem. Maybe it's not, though. In that maybe the new version of the cut of the select. Yeah, here it is. Found it. Wow, that was hard to find. Yeah, what's going on there? So it's not removing the corner because it detects that there's a block. Negative along its face and positive along its opposite face. So it detects a block along -1 along its axis and then +1 along its perpendicular axis. And that is causing the corner to be drawn. Interesting. Oh, we're going to see if we can knock that out. We're also going to see if we can add the corner back in the other situation. I see. You moved Chili downstairs. You've been checking on her every couple hours. It's a bit cold, being between 66 to 69 degrees Fahrenheit. That sounds just right for me. Oh, that's not Chili. That's Lil Chili, which is your plant. I see. That's not going to get confusing. You got your time lapse going. Nice, nice. All right, so if we go down to the corners, So we're looking at the negative. We're looking at the negative X. Oh, shoot. I didn't bother to check which corner. I mean, I bothered to check which edge, but not actually which corner. You love to confuse people. I'm getting that. I'm getting that about you. Okay, this is the best way to test this, is to just leave everything undone. All right, whose corner is this? It looks like it's the positive Y, negative X. So we aren't doing this except in the case of a mask, which is interesting. So we kind of need to fix that. We also need to fix the other one. Same reason you have 4 different names that you actively use? Yeah. I've noticed that too. I need you to tighten up your personal branding, Nix. It's an okay day. You're starting to work on your mod now. Nice. Alright, this is the corner. This is the corner we're concerned about. We only seem to have a problem if the mask is not null. And it's probably this. I'm gonna guess it's this line, which I'm gonna just suspend and see what happens. We're gonna need some spring cleaning on this auto tiler. I swear there's all these conditions that at one point were relevant and now are no longer. Your brand is confusion. That sounds right as well. Okay, well that's resolved. Okay. I like this song, whoever it is. Oh, we're still on the cinematic, calming cinematic radio. I still like this though. All right, so there was a corner that was an issue here, but only for the overlay. But again, I think we fixed that pretty easily. So we want to put like a wall or something. Gotta be more than just that. Yeah, okay. Okay, so there's multiple corner pieces missing. Well, there's also edges missing. Oh no, that's just 2 corners. And there's a corner here as well. So actually both of these corner mask pieces are a problem. This might not matter, but it also might. Because we still want this, we're still going to use this overlay for stuff. It'll probably be a lot subtler, but I do want to use this kind of overlay. I just want to use it for something else. I want to use it for like oxygen levels, like how rooms in like FTL start to turn red when the oxygen goes down. We could do a similar thing. Or we could even measure temperature if that becomes relevant. So like keeping your ship like hospitable could actually matter. Like environmental controls could matter because like it's people always do the thing about oxygen, but people rarely do temperature in this kind of a game. RimWorld does, but you know, RimWorld's special. But I think RimWorld doesn't do oxygen. I don't remember. I don't actually know. How does that work? Like if you expose part of your ship to space in RimWorld, do people die because it gets cold, or do people die because they can't breathe? Relying on the expertise of Nyx here, as someone with like, I believe like thousands of hours in RimWorld. And who knows, maybe the expansion has a different set of rules than the mod does. The like space travel mod, whatever it's called. All right, so we want to add some corners here. It should be just a matter of removing whatever special case the masked version has and restoring it to act the same as this one. Has corner positive X, positive Y. There isn't like an additional rule here. It seems to govern this. Can't believe we got 666 followers yesterday. It's pretty cool. The number of the beast. Music is very calming. Otherworldly nature. Oh, I like this too. All right, so the edge there is missing. Where's a good example? I'm struggling to find an example of the missing corner pieces. They're here, so that's good. I see some edges that are missing, but it actually kind of makes sense why. Kind of. I think I need to switch some ors to some ands. In some cases. Like, I think we're being a little too generous. Some of our conditions. Yeah, I want to fix these dark edges here. Because I can't find that corner issue quite right now. I'm gonna need to be able to distinguish between an outline and like an overlay, or not an outline, but like... We're also gonna need to draw outlines separately, I think. We're gonna need to go back to doing that. Once we start baking ship designs, but actively cutting away parts of the ship, but the auto tiling is baked, then what we're going to need to do is be able to draw the outlines separately from the underlying textures. Unless we want to just like absolutely explode the combinatorics of it, which I really don't want to do. Part of the reason we split to per face drawing was to avoid stuff like that. All right, now we'll change the radio. Sorry, my voice is a little scraggly today. Allergies. Springtime allergies will do that to you. What? Play this for now. Actually, I want something else. Yeah, I don't like this equi beats. There we go. Equi? I actually like the beats. I just don't like the vocal samples that he's always using. I've been studying lo-fi music because I'm going to have to make a bunch for this game. It's going to be kind of the most important component. I actually found some more like kind of ambient, like second screen kind of games that are really interesting. One of them is based on a bunch of them are based on like lo-fi girl stuff, but another one is based on the Ithia YouTube video series of like animations and like ambient soundtracks. It's really good. I want to play that game just to see what they got. Slow stream. We still only have 2 peeps here. Yeah, the last few days has been like that. I'm gonna tell people it's not my fault. I'm hoping that it's spring break and everything. People are just enjoying life. All right, so we have to work on these here. Yeah, so this or has edge. Or, oh, there's no material comparison for this version because we don't know the hull type for this call, but we could just pass the hull type forward. Why am I not providing a hull type for this? Oh, because I don't want it to... I understand why we're doing it this way. I guess that's okay for now. You're just happy to be in the lead stream streak-wise, Nick says, before Rhiannon Journey pops in. Hi, Rhiannon. How's it going? Happy Saturday. You had your moment. You had your moment, Nix. Stream started, you were walking dogs. That sounds nice. You can leave. Hope you're having a good weekend. We're playing around with the auto tiling system. I'm trying to fix up a couple issues before we swap over the textures. I'm having an issue with some of the corner stuff. But I'm also having a hard time locking it down here. I think it's like if I just do something like this, it'll be very obvious what's going wrong. So we just make like a cross shape kind of deal. And then we do a selection that runs partially through it, but like stops at one point. Will that show it to me? No, yeah, it will. It should. Oh, it won't in this case. But if I did something like this, it would. No, it won't. How do I actually get this to trigger? You know what? We might just say this is fine. I actually don't understand how to get this issue render. Oh, do I need? It needs to be something like this, maybe. What if I put another wall here? And I do like a selection, but like up to it, like here. Like this. I don't know how to trigger the thing. That's probably fine. Means it's probably fine. Oh, that's awkward. Whatever's going on here is a little weird. All right, well, let's move on for now. I spotted some errors earlier, but I can't see them anymore, so. Oh, that's very sweet. What are we working on today? You're debugging a black screen due to your shader. You're getting nowhere so far. That's really frustrating. Because you're getting like no visual feedback on it since it's black screen. I think we're gonna proceed to add in these different variations of the cursor and these select textures. Not the cursor like sprite, but you know, the active cursor area. Which is so we were messing around with it here. There's a problem with this, which I didn't express very well, but we want to start using something like this for selections, just like a bounding box kind of deal. And this for like boxing, but we want to do a version of this that actually measures, like a measuring stick handles like delineations, so you can actually count. But there's a complication to doing this, which I didn't appreciate, but which I appreciate now and is actually going to be a pain in the butt. Because these textures alternate. So like corner, and then this is like pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3. So there's actually like, to draw these is actually going to be kind of complicated. Because there's a patterning to them. And it's going to be tricky to maintain that patterning. So what I'm probably going to start with is we're going to probably change gears a little and implement this one first, because this one's easy. This one's like trivially easy. Because it only is interested in corners. And in fact, there should probably be one in the back here, huh? Like, there should be a fourth one in the back that is, like, represents the back corner, which would be like it's not impossible, it's just a more complex pattern matching. And honestly, it is a kind of pattern matching that we will need to understand and be able to do once we want to draw more complicated patterns. So it's like, it is something we got to figure out. So this one should be like, so if the pattern is this, and this would be here. Oh, is it just the same texture though? It is. It would just be this, but again. So that's actually easy. But we do want to draw one of these. So this should be pretty easy to block out. I'm just going to throw them into this for now. So this is the more complicated one, and this is the problem, you see, right? I mean, you saw it before, but this triple pattern means we need to be like, okay, if you're here, you actually need to know that there's an inner above you and an inner below you. But that's not sufficient because, yeah, you're actually going to need to look at the atlas coordinates. We're going to need to do this iteratively and not randomly, which we don't do it randomly, but we'll just need to pick a direction. Like for now, we go from the back to the front, and we go from the bottom to the top. And so we'll just need to formalize that. So that we can actually say, okay, I'm here. Let me look at what's below me, and let me guess ahead to what's in front of me. It definitely complicates it, but because this is such a limited, this is something that only happens upon the player's like active involvement. Like you have to actually actively box something out before you see anything like this, right? So we want to do the same kind of thing, but for these. So we want to make a few of these. Take a few of these textures. Put them over here. I realize we need to spend some time outlining a little bit more concretely like what's involved in Lo-Fi Flyby in terms of like what the player's gonna be doing, because Rusty's retirement has given me a lot of ideas in terms of like what are some decisions that the player can make that are like easy to execute but like encourage a lot of planning and thought. And I think for us that's going to be a lot of like cargo management, of like you're going to pick up cargo at one place and drop it off at another. Maybe you could even pick up like passengers too, if your ship is the right setup. So maybe like it will matter, right? Your choices of like what ship you buy, how you equip it. I already have the idea of like you could get an autopilot like from Airplane, so that your character can like go off and do other things without like, while the ship can continue like changing course and like moving around and stuff. I think that would be interesting. I think it would be interesting to have like a cargo loader bot. Or at least like an exo suit that you could buy so that you can move around bigger cargo. The alien references are going to be thick. There are going to be many alien references. Alien and aliens references in this. But I'm thinking more about like the strategic layer of like picking where you're going to go and what cargo you're going to pick up and stuff. And that'd be a fun little thing to have like a little galaxy map, like a little planner, a little path planner of like, here's some places that you can jump to from where you currently are. You could even include a little information about like, maybe like you've been there before, so you kind of know what they sell, or you've heard, and you can kind of like, maybe there's some idea of, you can be like, well, I think I could purchase this stuff here for this. And like, so having an actual like mercantile element to it, I think would be cool. Like super lightweight and like hardly it matters at all, but just like different cargo takes up different amounts of space. They require different equipment to move. They're worth a certain amount. They might be worth more or less at different stations. So it's like, just add the smallest amount of like the little mercantile logic, just something for the player to think about that doesn't involve a lot of active decision making. Because you're like, I think I'm going to buy self-sealing stem bolts on Orion, and then I think I'm going to try to sell those self-sealing stem bolts on Kronos, and you just set the course to Kronos, and you're just like, all right, decision made. I don't have to pay attention to the game for the next like 5 minutes or whatever while we fly to Kronos. And then you just land, offload the cargo, pick up some more cargo. Self-sealing stem bolts. It's a Star Trek reference. I'm sorry, Dave. That's a 2001 reference. Well done. I guess I need to make like a David Bowman character. Because we have our Ellen Ripley. We have like our lo-fi girl for lo-fi flyby. Maybe I need like a Dave Bowman. I don't think that's terribly representative, but I need to be able to set up the I'm sorry, Dave joke. We could have a who's who. I would definitely want to include then like a Naomi Nagata. I think that would be cool. Just like a who's who of like sci-fi character references. All right. I found myself just staring blindly here. So left, so that's positive. So we would do negative first, then positive, I think. Well, I'm going to draw it in like this for now. This is like this. Is that right? No. No. Man, I'm bad at this. There we go. You would love to have a ship with the HAL AI on it and nothing else. You can just randomly stumble across it. That would be pretty crazy. That would be pretty crazy. I think that... I forgot what the name of that ship was. Was it the Discovery? I think it was the Discovery. Discovery 1. I think Discovery 1 would not be a bad model for a ship. I think it's a little long for what we want to do. It's just such a long, weird, like almost skeletal ship design. Like, this would be hard to render appropriately. Same thing with the event horizon. This is like a really smart, like, structural design. This, like, umbilicus. And it's designed to, like, protect people from, like, the radiation of the engines and stuff, right? Like... I think that's ostensibly its design goal. But yeah, that would be tough. It would be cool. It'd be super cool. Maybe the main game we could fit a ship of this something like this size. It's just lack of proportionality. Or its proportions is a problem for us. Such a cool ship design, though. What we could have is the crew compartment part by itself. Or something like that. Ooh, this is cool. Never seen this before. Look at this. How neat is this? Oh, this is getting saved. Look how cool this is. So this is like, this part is in like a different... So the circular ring is rotating, which gives them their artificial gravity. Which is, you know, how they can sit here or whatever. But the rest of the ship... So, like, that's really cool that the flight computer area here is, like... And this is the memory room from the spoilers, the end of the film. This is the HAL computer room. This is sick. Here's the airlock. Little pod bay. Open the pod bay doors, Hal. Hey, Remus. What's on the menu today? We're still messing around with our replacement selection outline stuff that we're trying to do. But we got distracted by this incredible high-res drawing of the Discovery one. Incredible. There's Hal. There's actually a couple Hals, I think. Yeah, there's Hal again. Spot the Hals. There's two, I remember. I think there's probably... Yeah, there's one right here. There's three. How many more Hals do we got? Hal terminals. There's four. There's probably one here, but you can't see them. Maybe this is supposed to be them. Not super clear. Maybe. It looks like anytime you see this kind of a light thing, it's supposed to be hell. There's definitely one in here. Yeah, right here. That's fun. I had fun with that. What a shot. Oh, I like the fiction you're writing out here, Nix. How are you doing, Remus? Happy Saturday. Nix, you come across a derelict ship in pristine condition, according to your visuals feed. However, after repeatedly hailing the ship, yielding no response, you think you could send a small surveyor team over starboard to check it out and loot it. Your small surveyor team, upon closer inspection, revealed this derelict's AI has been manually turned off, severing the link between the AI's computational core from the rest of the ship. You could order your surveyor team to try to fix the connection. That's fun. Between the onboard AI and the ship. However, this could lead to unknown consequences, not knowing why the last owners of the ship turned off the AI. Your surveyor team also mentioned that they were unable to spot any person on the ship, aside from a few humans who had passed away in their sleeping pod. Oh yeah, the poor members of the survey team. You could order your team to jury rig and only set up the bare necessary life essential system functions and try to tow the ship back or begin dismantling of the ship for resources. Yeah, that sounds like the sort of thing that we would get up to in the main game. I think it would be really cool to be able to board derelict ships. You're pretty stoked for the game. Yeah, me too. I'm pretty stoked for this game that we haven't made. It's a long road getting from there to here. Best theme song ever? Absolutely not. That award almost certainly goes to it. I mean, part of me wants to say like the Firefly theme song is really good, but in reality, it's like Cowboy Bebop. I don't think you can beat the seatbelts. I don't think anyone should even try. I know there was probably deep sarcasm in your... I hope there was deep sarcasm in your comment. If not, I'm concerned. I read a headline from Marina Sirtis, the Counselor Troy. She commented on having to do the Enterprise finale. She said it was like getting like a cup of hot sick, and I'm like, ugh. But accurate. That was such a travesty. Oh man, I put this on the wrong layer. I'm an idiot. It's fine, easy to fix. Wrong layer, Dave. That's what they call me. Oh, I'm gonna be stupid and I'm gonna lay this out visually. For now. I haven't figured out how I'm gonna arrange these. And honestly, the texture packing part is the part I'm least concerned about. The part I'm concerned about is handling the auto tiling map. So here's like our auto tiling mapping for our like regular. So like here you've got the mapping. So here's the X map. I don't know why I called this X map. So here's the X face mapping. And it's like, here's all the outline stuff. This is how the auto tiler thinks about outlines, right? No outline, full outline, everything in between. And there's variations that allow for like corners. So here's like the corner variation with no edges. And there's like everywhere in between, right? And we map the corners on the Z and W axes. And we need a similar... We're only corners, so I guess for this we need like a... Although, I guess that's what we're going to do, is we're probably going to have like a vector 3 mapping, and we'll use Z to represent like where in this order we are. I think that's what we're going to have to do. Because we're going to have a weird time trying to capture the alternating pattern here. We haven't had to do a complex alternating pattern before, which I guess we only have to do for the XY faces. The Z faces are nicely, totally fine. And actually perfectly handled. These are awful, and I want to think about a way we could do this without needing to actually alternate them, but I am not sure. I'm not sure if that can be done. We'll try it. We're going to try something because I don't know. What would a variation of this look like that was continuous, or that didn't need to know more about its space? Something that just like tessellates perfectly. Would it be something like... I really don't want to figure this out. What would this look like? So that all the interior pieces look the same. Because having this pattern is annoying. It's deeply annoying. Whereas, like, you'll notice that these are identical, right? So if it's an interior piece, it's just the same, whether it's here or there, right? Or here or there. But the vertical ones are very different. Like, this is unique, this is unique, this is unique. This is a problem. Or it's not a problem. This is complexity. Is it like core complexity? Is it like unavoidable complexity? Can we switch? I'm going to try to just switch to the simple double dot. See if we can achieve kind of what we want. We're going to make an attempt. So how did I want to do this? How did I want to attempt this? We can't do that. This is really tough because of this bottom one here. Arneo, how can you learn to like diagramming as much as I do? I don't know. I'm like one of those people that's like usually just do the work. But diagramming has helped me because it's a lot of busy work, but it forces you to confront problems in interesting ways. Sometimes they're not real problems. But I find it very almost zen to do like a bit of diagramming. It kind of frees up part of your brain. But yeah, I don't know. It helps me because I'm streaming. So it's nice to be like, to be able to bring up a diagram and explain what we're trying to work on. But yeah, I think I would, I actually don't know if I would diagram stuff if I was working on my own. Like if I wasn't doing this in public. Is that okay? It's kind of too much material, but can we change it by like doing like this? Is this okay? Would we be okay with this? It's kind of a lot on the edges. Well, actually, I guess it doesn't need to be like this. How would we feel about that? I don't love it. It would also on this side look like how's it going, Arneo? Maybe I do like it better than these really thick, like, nodules. You would just learn to count the big ones. So you'd be like, 1, 2, 3. It does the thing that I don't like, which is it creates an equal, like, pinstripe pattern kind of thing. But I guess I could do something like this to break that up if I absolutely felt that was necessary. I feel like that's a lot. But I really want to do something that's regular. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do an irregular pattern. I'm like not ready to figure out what an irregular pattern looks like. Hey, Commander. How are you doing? You feeling better, more rested? Arnio, you feel like you need to decide which one is on top and just keep that consistent. Expand on that. Because the thing we're trying to achieve is we're trying to achieve an inner tile pattern that just tessellates cleanly. The problem with this pattern is that it alternates in a funky way. So it's like the first one's this one, the second one's this one, and then the third one is this one. So you actually need to figure out where you are in the pattern, and the only way to figure out where you are in the pattern is to figure out where the edges of the pattern are. This is always an axis-aligned bounding box, though. So can we... Does that help us? I guess that means we know where the edges are, so we could just count from the edge. Is that how we're going to handle doors and stuff? I guess we need to figure that out, too. Is how you handle any kind of multi-block size thing that needs to be rendered per tile. You kind of need to look at its box and then assign the right tiles to it. I don't love whatever's happening here, though. It's too much. I think this would be better, but I don't love this either. That's definitely better. And for some reason, the fact that it's a long line and then a long line upsets me less than like this one. Like this bothers me deeply. This like square pattern, this like repeating square pattern for some reason, this like deeply upsets me. But for some reason, this 4 on 4 off pattern is like kind of okay to me. Would I want to do it like this though? No, I don't love that. And in fact, we could do this to be consistent. If we wanted to be consistent. I kind of like this. It might kind of suck for one-offs. Because if we do a one-off like this, how does that even work? It would be like this. I guess that would be okay. You're doing well? Good. Maybe you just don't understand what the color grids were for. Oh, no worries. This is the projection of the X and Y faces. So, like, if you take this and extrapolate it out to its neighbors, this is what you get. And this is how we would think about the face rendering. And so I really want an interior pattern that tessellates cleanly, where it's just, I know I'm an interior pattern. But I acknowledge that that actually isn't something that we're always going to be able to rely on. especially once we start handling things like doors. I think this is okay though. Like, let me update this one to look like it. Actually, let me paste this one again. So if we update this to what I'm currently thinking, it would be like this. Like, I like this. And then this would become... I think that's okay. It's a little harder to count the vertical distance. Like, you'd have to learn what it means. Like, you'd have to learn to go from 0, 1, 2, 3. But that is easy, because you would do the same thing sideways. You would go 0, 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. So, I mean, it's clean, and each dash mark means you've gone up a level, so it, like, achieves its stated goal of providing a ruler without being too busy. I'm still not thrilled about this. But this, when you let off the cursor, right, when you, like, are done making your selection, that turns into this anyway. So you don't have to look at this for any longer. And I think it is better than both this and this. I think it's sufficiently refined to be useful for us. And it fits our goal of tessellating cleanly without added complication. We do still need to solve the problem that the other version represents, but we don't need to solve it right now. And you know what? That is good enough for me. Gotta turn our magenta background on. Yeah, I like this. We're gonna ship this. My local theater is showing a Barbarella and Zardoz tomorrow as like a double header, as like an afternoon matinee. I am pretty tempted to just waste my day like that. I don't know if I need to see Zardoz. I adore Zardoz, but I also have it on DVD. But I've never seen Barbarella. And I do love that 60s, 70s sci-fi stuff. And Jane Fonda's amazing. So it almost feels like a crime that I haven't seen it. So here's a question. What does the backside of this look like? Is it actually consistent like this one? Or is it its own thing? Well, we'll answer that question next. We'll update. Let's finish updating this. But yeah, I think this works for us. I think we can work with this. I know technically I could just copy this over, which is probably what we should do. Save time. Or the workflow police come and arrest me for duplicating my effort. Do it. All right. If you say so, Remus. I think I'm at least gonna go see Barbarella. I think that'd be fun. And then there's an hour between the shows, so I can decide if I'm up for Zardoz. Why is this all effed up? Oh, because I didn't actually fix any of this. Fair enough. All right. I am largely reassured now. Guess I gotta fix these two. It's not a waste if you're having fun. That's the ticket, Nix. That's the ticket. Yeah, it's gonna be a lazy Sunday tomorrow, no matter what. It's just a question of, you know, what am I not doing, you know? It's not a question of what I'm doing, it's what am I not doing. All right, I think this is cool. This will become this. Oh. Do I not understand what's going on here? Slight wrinkle to this plan. There's a slight amount of complexity involved in this part because these 2 pixels are actually the responsibility of these tiles. And I can't do that. Like if I did that here, that would mean something like here. Weird. Okay, so nothing there. So that means like this would not be like this. It would be like that. And honestly, I'm okay with that. It's a compromise, but it's one I can live with. Hey, nerds. Oh. Ooh. We have a target to the photon torpedoes here. Tiles. Yeah, we're trying to wrap up our auto tiler, but we want to swap out a new selection, active and passive selection, little outlines. So we've been settling on it. I think we're settled on this for like our passive selection. Like you've selected something and there's a bounding box of what you've selected and it's like this. And then the active selection of like you're dragging your cursor out. And we wanted to do it in such a way that you could actually check mark it. Like you could actually see how, like add a little ruler to it. So you could be like, oh, this is a 3x3x3 block. So you can be like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and just count. Ready the photon torpedoes? I know. Hold on, stand by. Loading the photon torpedoes. Targeting. Target is locked into the computer. Standing by. All right. Fire.
He's dead, Jim.
That was nice timing. How are you doing? How are you doing, nerds? Hey, thanks for the hydrate, Commander. You got it, Commander. I'm sure everyone knows the nerds here, but we're gonna shout them out anyway. Good, you just did a play test with Celine. She struggled severely. Oh. You don't think you're getting away with not having difficulty options? Yeah. I think that's fine. I find that game developers are often notoriously bad at playing games. I know I am. It's always embarrassing when people bring me their jam games and are like, play this for me, and I'm like, I literally am unable to beat this jam game that's supposed to be over in 5 minutes. It's always embarrassing. All right, I like this. But yeah, we need to double check that the box in the back here is actually fine. So we're going to take this. Oops. Take some of this. Yeah, things are all right here. We're wrapping up, March, which I'm kind of treating March as kind of an amnesty period of like, I can keep working on some of the nonsense that I'm preoccupied with, but starting in April, we are going to redouble our efforts just solely on the focus of the game plan, which is this year we need to get a Steam page, a game trailer, and like a little demo for Lo-Fi Flyby. You'll be pleased. We're switching gears. We're switching gears from delivering on scope to delivering on deadline. We're switching gears from systems development to content development. I know you've been advocating for this for basically the entire time I've been working on the game. But we had to identify, like a rushing nesting doll, we had to identify the game within the game. The small game that we could actually deliver on that exists within the bigger game. And that is Lo-Fi Flyby, our little side project. Our little casual indie simulation, which is what Steam calls it. Steam actually doesn't have a category for idle game, which is fascinating. But yeah, I've been doing the market research. Got a pretty strong idea of what I want to do, but it's nice. It bypasses the strategy game problem of like, most strategy games need like 90% of their systems to be done before you can even evaluate them, like at all, right? What am I doing? We're trying to avoid that by making something small that only needs like 20% of the systems. Why am I doing it this way? The workflow police are going to come and arrest me again. Nerds. You think you'll think I'll be surprised how much good direction I'll get on the tile tool by trying to make a game with it. Yeah, I think focusing on the tool identified a lot of core problems. It did definitely force us to confront a lot of stuff about rendering, especially, that I don't think we would have figured out. I mean, we would have figured it out eventually, but I think if we weren't open to like working heavily on that, we would be in a position where we'd be like we'd have depended on. I think it's dangerous to solidify your foundational technologies too early. Because as soon as the foundational tech is in place and you don't feel like you can change it because you built a lot of stuff out of it, I think that can be hard. That's my apologia for spending, 2 years on all these tools. Oh, can I not do this either? Interesting. So I can't do it like this. However, that's fine because someone else is responsible for that part. And in fact, are these also going to be drawn behind? In which case, this is handled like this? Yeah, it is. It is. It's true. The inverse of building a bunch of things that then turn out to be useless is also problematic. Very true, very true. What we've ended up at is we have this tile editing tool that is like way more powerful than it needs to be for what we're about to do with it. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I put a lot of effort recently into splitting up my code base into submodules so that these different games can rely on the same tech stack. And I'm hoping that will pay off. It's definitely already helped me in terms of cleanly separating concerns. So I think that's been good. I was originally going to try to do all of this within one project, but splitting the functionality out has helped. Yeah, I've never been under any illusion that my game development process is suboptimal, right? I know my game dev process is suboptimal. I don't know how you do anything else. All right, so whose job is this? Oh, there's a problem. Can't do that. Oh, maybe I can actually. Totally can. We're hobbyists. Suboptimal is our home. Yeah. I prefer the term amateur. So far as no one pays me to do this. Suboptimal is like your middle name, Nick, so that's hilarious. It's funny. What's currently wrong with this situation? Like this. Yeah, I get annoyed when people kind of think I'm doing this like a hobby. I mean, not you. I'm not annoyed at you, nerds. I just get annoyed when people are like, oh, it's nice to have so much time for your hobby. And I'm like, I work 12 hours a day. And I'm only paid for half of that. Because half of it is like for my day job and half of it's for like the game dev. But it's all work. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not very privileged and very blessed to have the flexibility in my schedule and the time to pursue my dreams, obviously. Obviously, that puts me into a very, very privileged set of people because I don't have any real, like, I don't have a mortgage. I don't have kids. Like, I'm lucky that I'm at the point in my life where I can do things, make trade-offs like this, but it's like, but damn, it's definitely not for fun. It is for the love of it though. That amateur spirit and passion. I don't know why I picked this as my soapbox for today. I think yesterday the soapboxes were Joss Whedon dialogue. Today's soapbox is about valuing your time and taking the work you do seriously, even if no one else will agrees to do so. It's a hobby until you earn a paycheck. I kind of reject that characterization as well. Oh no, I'm a professional Twitch streamer. That's different than being a professional game developer. I do make money from Twitch. Not like, a lot. But I do make some money. So yeah, there is an irony in that to me. Just to me, a hobby is something you do for fun on the weekends. And I feel like we're a little bit beyond that when we're talking about game dev. So a bit of an issue with the way that this is represented is that we actually rely on multiple layers to handle all of the outlining, which I think is fine. Like this, actually. Actually, is that fine? Yeah, that's fine. I'm splitting hairs to an extent. You just call it a passion and call it a day. Yeah, I think it depends on what your goals are. I definitely have, like, a plan to commercialize this and, like, turn it into a full-time thing someday. But I also have no illusions that that's a long shot. Like, I don't have plans to quit my job. This needs to be like this. Oh, I'm actually confused by how this works now. This one should actually be maybe like this. Nerds, how you think about it is even having sold video game copies, you're not earning enough from it to make a real difference, so you call it a hobby. But you agree with me, sometimes it's not fun. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a hobby. I don't know, maybe we have different opinions about what constitutes a hobby. I think the intention going into it is also important. I think once your aim becomes profit, I think it stops being a hobby. Like, even if you aren't achieving profit, I think it stops being a hobby the moment your purpose on it is to make some kind of profit. Maybe not enough, like you're saying, to survive on, but enough to, justify the endeavor personally. It's maybe not a life-changing amount of money, but yeah, that's my feeling on it, is that's when it stops being a hobby. Would I prefer to have rounded corners here? I don't think so, but no, I would not. Commander, you fully intend on becoming a professional programmer and or game developer, and you would absolutely call programming a hobby of yours? It's fair. Oh, I think I could, what's a programming hobby that I have? Well, I don't have any, but I could see myself having programming hobbies on the side. Like when I convert my old computer to a Linux box. Messing around with that would be like hobby, like home assistance stuff, right? Like that'd be home lab stuff. Like maintaining a home lab is a hobby, yeah. But to me, programming these games is not a hobby. Because I think if it's a hobby, like if I have a hobby and I don't feel like doing my hobby, I don't do my hobby. Like if my hobby is like history or bicycling or whatever, and I don't feel like it, I can freely not do it because it's a hobby. But like if I don't feel like working on my game, I still got to work on my game. Not feeling like doing it is not sufficient reason to not do it because it's a commitment and it's a job, even if it's a self-employed job and nobody's paying me. That's just how I think about it. I'm not trying to judge anyone else's characterization of their own pursuits and their own work. This is just how I think about it to keep myself sane and to reject the less than serious, you know. This is how I defend myself from people in my real life who are like, "Oh, I don't see why you aren't doing something else with your time. Why you're like, you know, always spending this time on your game dev hobby." And it's like, not a hobby. Again, I don't know why I picked this hill to die on, but I guess it's something that actually hits a nerve with me. Not trying to bring anyone down or criticize anyone's characterizations of their work or themselves. Again, super seriously. This is just how I rationalize it to myself. Arneo, you make a distinction between music, a hobby you would hate to think of as work, and game dev, a hobby you would like to sell out for. Those distinctions are personal for everyone, but of course, yeah, and it's tough. It's tough because I honestly don't think I would ever take a job in the game dev industry. Like, I think if someone from like if I think I knew somebody who was like, hey, we have an opening for like an associate developer or producer or even like QA or something, like there's a reason I'm not in the game dev industry. Because I don't think I would. I think you're right in that there is a passion aspect to it. There is an amateurness. Like, I do acknowledge that my pursuit is amateur, not professional. What I'm doing is very amateur. And I think that points to the passion. I just don't like the hobby label. Because a hobby is something you do for fun on the weekends. A hobby is something like being like you could I actually have a coworker who does this. They restore old furniture, like nice old hardwood furniture. They do it as a hobby. They could do it as a profession. Like they could attempt to, you know. And I know people the same way that do like electronics repair. I know some people that do it for fun, and I know some people do it for serious. You know? Some people are like flipping retro consoles, and other people are like, I just like soldering old equipment so that it works. I think it's all about the intentionality. I think it's way more about the intentionality than it is about the result. And I know literally nobody asked me about this. This is entirely unsolicited. So, apologies. Game dev industry sounds like hell. I know, and I made that decision in like 2009. Like, I thought I had that feeling when I was first treading the halls of GDC, which my very first game developer conference was 2008. I went. I won't say exactly how old I was, but I was a teenager. I was leaving the bounds of teenagehood. And I went to GDC in 2008, and I was blown away. I went to the Indie Game Summit back when there was an Indie Game Summit. Sat next to the programmer of Fez. Was an idiot. Described myself as a bedroom programmer. Not the programmer of Fez was an idiot. I was an idiot in the way I comported myself and interacted with people there. Because I was a kid. I didn't know better. But yeah, even back then, I saw people, you know, people were handing out resumes to like 2K games and stuff. And, you know, that's how people get started. Like the developers of Subset Games, the two developers of FTL, Faster Than Light, they were also at GDC around that time. I think maybe they were there around that time or maybe a year or two later. And they went up and they were like, we want jobs in the industry. And 2K was like, oh yeah, we'll give you a job. Are you willing to relocate to China? And they were like, sure. And they did. And they met. And being in China gave them a low enough cost of living that they could quit their jobs at 2K and make FTL, Faster Than Light, in 6 months or whatever. I think it was a year and a half. Let's not call it 6 months. I think it was a year and a half that they worked on FTL before they released it. And then they worked on it some more because they did expansion. They did it like a DLC or whatever. Not a DLC. They did like an update. But yeah, maybe I should have been more open to that back then. It probably would have been a springboard. But yeah, I was covetous and defensive of the passion that I had for game dev. And I was unwilling to compromise on that. As you know, most young people are. Most stupid young people are. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. Does this work the way this is set up here? I've identified what is potentially another problem. You love games too much to be anywhere near the games industry, too, nerdy nerds. Exactly. I think that sums it up well. That would be hard. I would definitely have a hard time living somewhere that I don't speak the language. Next. I do understand. All right, I want to check the back faces because part of what we're doing with this is drawing back faces. I want to double check the back faces. Kind of wish I didn't erase the whole thing here. Kind of wish I'd kept the outline. That's fine. I feel like you can tell when I don't like doing real work because I just mess around with art. You can kind of tell when my brain is fried. And not just the way I run my mouth. When I'm unfocused and tired. Okay, I have a slight concern about how this tessellates. But, you know, I'm going to kind of play it out. I'm going to kind of look at it a little more closely. We'll get it into a sprite sheet. I'll try. Give it a try. Give it the old college try here. Yeah, I kind of wish I had left the upper section of the outline in place. Kind of wish I hadn't destroyed it. Yeah, it is true. People hear bad things about places they don't live. They don't live. Like if you just listened, like I've lived in San Francisco for uh over 15 years. I've seen the city go through a lot. And it's one of those things where like the version of the city that I hear about in the news is so different than the version of the city that I live in. And like part of that is like, yeah, I live in a nice neighborhood, but like I've also lived in, I've lived in the Tenderloin. I go downtown all the time. I go to the Mission. Like I see the city. I go to the Soma. Like it's shocking how different the city is as it's described in like the media versus like how it actually is to live in. Kind of apropos of nothing. That's just my observation of it. So yeah, I think it is important, like, to just keep an open mind. Not criticizing your take. Your take could be totally accurate. I would think that way too if I didn't live in a city that had been so described, so inaccurately described in my mind. Well, this looks a little funky, if I'm being honest. But that's maybe... So yeah, I don't know if I love the full box look rather than the... No, I didn't say full box, the full box. And maybe this will be the... Oh yeah, I have an idea for how this works. I mean, they can be really bad. I'm not saying San Francisco doesn't have aspects of it that are like really unfortunate. But it's like people describe it like it's like Escape from New York sometimes. And it's like, this is like one of the most, this is constantly trading places as one of the most expensive places to live in the country. And it's like, there is a reason for that. If this city was as bad as people described it in the news, it would not be one of the most expensive places to live, I think. Maybe that's an incorrect read. But it's like, you can kind of tell there's a disconnect. Places like that. But again, not criticizing anyone's take or anyone's feeling about how they would, how they would like or not like somewhere. Like, I would love to live in the Japan of Studio Ghibli films. I would love to have an old rural house, but I actually would not be able to incorporate in the community because, well, for one thing, I don't speak the language. And for another, I know that is not the way. The place I see in media is not the place that it really is I guess the point. A great point illustrated in Pompoko, which I watched this week, which I love that movie. But again, it is heartbreaking. I talked about it yesterday. I'm not going to talk about Pompoko again. Nix. Same thing here in Europe. There are some towns in Germany, a bunch of problems. You know better than to listen to your version of the news. Yeah. There's people who try to present. There's anyone who has an agenda with their portrayal of the news and their portrayal of places and people. You can kind of tell. Sometimes it's hard to tell, and it's important to really be conscious of that and just look for it because it's always there. There's no such thing as unbiased coverage. There can be, quote-unquote fair, balanced coverage, but there's no such thing as unbiased coverage because there's no such thing as unbiased anything. I don't know why this has been this. I'm not trying to make the discussion topic heavy. I honestly just don't have anything to talk about. So this has been nice. Just kind of go with the flow in terms of what's come up as I kind of just mindlessly doodle. It's been a really slow week, both on the stream and kind of, you know, mentally, internally. But I am very excited. I'm excited about what we're doing. I'm excited about the direction we're heading. I'm excited about it in a way that maybe I haven't been for a while, because I've been so lost in, you know, systems development and long-term stuff that it's really even some of the stuff that we're already doing in terms of like some of the basic character design I've been doing for our lo-fi flyby characters and some of the ship layout stuff I've been doing off stream. I'm trying to switch to content mode from systems design mode, and it's not something that's easy to switch to on a dime, but it's very exciting. Is this gonna work correctly? Yes. Okay. One day at a time, good sir. Truly. One day at a time. Sometimes even just 10 seconds at a time, you know? That's a TV reference. I don't totally love this look. I think it'll be fine because most of the time it will be covered up by the thing that we're boxing. But I'm gonna be super honest, I don't love the... So I guess this would look like this, actually. Maybe I do kind of love that. That suggestion of the backline. It's when the backline actually gets fully rendered because there's nothing there. I don't totally love this. But especially I'm not going to love it when I actually fill this in here. Nix. Yeah, I'm sure you're unbiased when it comes to that, if nothing else. You know, there's some biases I'm okay with, like my bias against the Unity engine, for example. That is a bias. That's not an implicit bias. That is a bias that was hard earned by me through a lifetime of experience. And even though I haven't used that engine in years, I don't feel like I'm under any pressure or obligation to reevaluate that. It's prejudged, right? I'm not prejudging Unity. I've used Unity for, you know, 15 years. I know it's trash. Important to make these distinctions between learned experience and implicit bias. All right, now we're having fun. Now the truth is being spoken. I mean the 5* engine? Yeah. No, I don't mean that. I said what I meant. And I meant what I said. I maybe come on a little too strong about that, though. I will admit maybe occasionally I come on too strong regarding that. Like when someone shares a game engine with me and I'm just like visibly disgusted. And by shares a game engine, I mean they share like their game jam game with me. And I'm like, what did you make this in? And they're like, Unity. And I'm like, I should probably tone that down. I don't actually blame people for the engines they choose to work in. Most people just are comfortable with doing something. But I will advocate for Godot, and I will say that people should probably give it a try. Should probably try to change. Only right answer is buy game. Arnia, you have a bias against people with biases. I know. That represents the fundamental, one of the fundamental, what's the right word? Contradictions in like tolerance. Should tolerance be tolerant of intolerance? Should you be tolerant of intolerance? If you're tolerant, if you preach tolerance, it's a conundrum. It's not a real conundrum. It's actually resolved pretty easily. But people act like it's a conundrum. All right, I'm pretty pleased with this. I think this is going to look good. I'm a little concerned about the back faces. I'm a little concerned about drawing the back faces, but I actually think it's fine. Like, I don't think I need to re-diagram these. Like, if I did something like this, just to double check that I haven't lost my mind here. Actually, maybe the back faces are different, huh? These actually might be different. How's that look compared to this? That is different, isn't it? Okay, maybe I do need to draw the back faces. Figure out the back face stuff. I mean, we could always try skipping the back faces, but I don't really want to do that. All right, take it easy. I know, Arneo. I was being a little facetious. That's one of those joke philosophical defenses that are just like absolutely like does not deserve to be taken seriously. Why is this all the way over here? Oh, because like actually windowed or full screened or whatever. I'm not going to get into the heavier version of this discussion because I think this isn't the right place for it, but there's this idea of the moving walkway. And the movement of the walkway represents the natural force of the environment in which we exist. And some people walk with the moving walkway. Some people walk against the moving walkway. And some people just stand still on the moving walkway. And the way you behave on the moving walkway kind of defines who you are. But it's for each individual to really make that choice, you know. So is this the same on the back face here? Is I guess my question. It is not. Fascinating. Okay, I'm gonna figure this one out first. We're running out of space. I really should have put this in its own file. I'm gonna do that. How big is this? This is 1024 by 1024. Do the same. my low sat palette? There it is. We're gonna move this over. We're also headed into ads. Hold on to your ads, people. Oh, did I just put this in the background? I did. Oops. All right. I need to double check that the back faces are still do the same thing. Still behave the same way, you know? I don't think they do. Is the concern. And it's like we don't necessarily need to draw the back faces, but I kind of want to. I kind of want to. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. Spring has sprung. Aside from the allergies, it's glorious. Can't see. I hope people aren't too bothered by the background. I prefer my blue background, my baby blue background, but when I do stuff that involves the vector faces, I always use that blue for the Z vector, the Z axis. All right, so far, kind of so good. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. Time to start erasing things, I guess. I made a mistake. This is going to be kind of annoying. But we got this. All right, where's the back one? Just take this. Let me get rid of this. It's not terribly efficient, but you know what? Bring it on, workflow police. I know my rights. I have a right to an inefficient workflow. All right. I think that's right. Oh yeah, I could have just looked there. Hey, Rhiannon. You've undone all your shader code you've tried today. You're gonna try again from scratch. I hate that, but sometimes the rollback is the only sane thing you can do. If you can't afford an inefficient workflow, one will be provided for you. Yeah, that's hilarious. That's pretty funny. You have the right to an inefficient workflow. You cannot afford one, one will be provided for you. Okay, so this is definitely different than the foreground textures. So that's interesting. Let me just quick sanity check here. Yeah, that's it. Okay. And then I can do the same thing. Copy this over. Give it a little room, I guess. Okay, well, that's good to know. So we actually have more of these. So it's not just these. So we need to add to this. Rhiannon, you're way in over your head trying to marry together a few different 3D pixel art shaders while avoiding pixel shimmering. You got a shader that is recoloring pixels based on world position, but now you're trying to sample colors from some probe cameras in your scene. It's blowing up and just giving you a black screen. Yeah, that sounds like a whole can of worms. I very much believe in you, but that sounds very hard. Sounds very hard to deal with. All right, so those are those ones. I need these ones now. So that's one. This is another one. And then this one is like that. Is it all the way up at the edge? It is. Okay, interesting. And then is this one also at the edge? Oh, it would be actually like this. Yeah. All right. Rock and roll. And I actually would probably reverse the order of these. So you can kind of see how we're boxing here. You can kind of see the box shape here. We'll have to figure out how we're going to arrange these, but that's fine. That's fine. So this one similarly would be like this. Arnio, you were supposed to be diagramming a behavior tree for the NPC ship. Instead, you made sandwiches. Nice. I mean, that sounds like a prerequisite. So it sounds like you're ready. Rhiannon, you just baked a cake? Oh, my God. I have a leftover salad from last night. That'll be nice for lunch. I made like a little Mediterranean salad. Have that. Maybe with like a pita. You guys like not make me hungry. Sorry. Sorry, Nix. It's not my fault. I'm always streaming around lunchtime. It's always lunchtime somewhere. And if it's not, it might be breakfast or dinner, you know? All right, the Z textures. I gotta do the Z textures. I've been putting this off for some reason. But here we go. This one's not gonna look as clean, but I don't think I can be bothered to do it like this. Position it. We're actually gonna have to redo all these. This is all trash. We'll see what we can do here. This one first, I guess. I have a hard time believing it's like this. Oh, for this shape it is. Right. Oh, and it's actually simpler. Okay. And then the one to your right is this one. I have a hard time with these because they're not outlined. So my brain is like struggling. I think that's right. Yeah. And then the one to the left is this one, which is just the opposite. And then the one in front is this one. Oh, the one in front is the same. Interesting. Is that always true? Is the one in back here the same as well? It is. It is. Fascinating. How is that gonna work? I'm a little concerned about something here. need to do these, but for the dotted line. Oh, next with the skip music track. Sorry. You don't like this one? I don't love it either. Here we go. Back to our Harris Heller, whom we love. You'll get your points back. I didn't like that song either, so I'll get you your points back. I know you need every bit of points. I know you're saving up. Thanks for the hydrate, Nix. You got an extra large pizza tonight. Ooh. Yeah, I've definitely eaten a whole pizza at once. That's a feeling. 11 C's, yeah, exactly. What about second breakfast? Second breakfast. I don't think he's knows about second breakfast, Pip. 11 C's? Tea? Supper? I have feelings about... I know you're talking about some... Colbert is writing some kind of Lord of the Rings property. That sounds exciting, because the search for Gollum, I am concerned about the search for Gollum. It looks like everything that was wrong with The Hobbit, but like turned up to 11. I have concerns. You know, Orlando Bloom can only play, you know, that character for so long. This is like bringing Data back for Picard. It's like, maybe we don't do that one. And they tried to explain it eventually, but it's like, at least Firefly has the wisdom to be like, this is going to be an animated series, because, yeah, because it's been 20 years. It's been 84 years, or whatever she says. 82 years? I don't remember. But yeah, I'm deeply concerned. Deeply concerned about the hunt for Gollum. The search for Gollum, or whatever it's called. Brendan Lee Mulligan is Bombadil, Tom Bombadil. They already had Tom Bombadil. I mean, I guess spoilers for the Rings of Power. It was okay. Thought it was weird that he was singing songs about himself. People are really obsessed with Tom Bombadil. I don't totally love how this comes together in this context. I don't totally love this weird MC Escher shape I get, but it's probably fine. Why is this off by 1? Oh, I see. Something seems to have gone wrong here. Rings of Power, you had your memory scrapped of everything related to that. Yeah, that's funny. Lord of the Rings trilogy was the proverbial lightning in a bottle. Yeah, you literally can't. Oh, you just need a DLSS 5 Orlando. Yeah, that'll probably be fine. Yeah, the Rings of Power, I watched it. Didn't hate it. Have pretty much forgotten it. But yeah, the Lord of the Rings trilogy cannot be. Gondor has no new Lord of the Rings trilogy. Gondor needs no new Lord of the Rings trilogy. You don't get why they don't just recast characters these days. They used to do that even between sequels with no explanation. It works fine. Yeah, true. Oh, yeah. They recast Rhodey in Iron Man 2. They recast the Hulk in Avengers. No explanation. I think, who was the original Hulk? Edward Norton? I mean, Edward Norton is fine. I think what they did makes sense because, you know, everyone pretty much universally hated the Rings of Power. And they mostly tolerated The Hobbit because of, like, the continuity with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So I kind of get it. I kind of get them being like, we need Vigo. I mean, the only person for whom this isn't a problem is Ian McKellen. They just don't need to use prosthetics for him anymore. He just looks the age he's supposed to be now. All right, I'm going to just put this duplicate in here just for the moment. I know we don't technically need it. But there's also no reason to remove it, so whatever. Do the same thing here. Hey, Fanny Slam. Are we winning? Selection squares. Selection squares. Yeah, we're making some new selection squares. Condor will play no beacons. That's funny. To your nerds, they should instead invest in Selective Amnesia Machine. That way we could forget the trilogy and watch it all over again. You could only stomach 2 episodes of Rings of Power. Yeah. They look great. 10 out of 10 would select. No, I appreciate that. We still want to use our classic overlays, but I think they're good for like, I think they would be good for a different purpose than what we're currently, because our current selection overlays are like this. Yeah. My partner has this incredible gift where she can rewatch TVs and movies as if it's for the first time. We're kind of regardless of the number of times that she's seen it. And I'm like, that is a superpower. I'm like, I would trade almost everything for an ability to like rewatch some of this stuff or re-experiencing media for the first time. For film and movies, I don't mind as much. I actually love rewatches, and I actually don't get bothered by that. But for like certain games, like I would give almost anything to be able to go back and play Subnautica again for the first time. Like that is an experience I literally can't have again. Like, and I thought it would be okay if I played like the new game. Like I played Subnautica Below Zero, and it was like, and I was like, maybe it'll be like the first time again. It was not. It was good. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, you can never experience something like that for the first time again. There was another game I was thinking of recently. Oh, it was Valheim. I wish I could experience Valheim again for the first time. It was so incredible. All right, so yeah, our current selection overlay is like this. It's like this, God, it's kind of hard to apply actually across multiple rooms. It's like an actual like mask over our current thing, and I want to replace it with some of those more minimal. I do want to use this. I think this is cool. Like, I think if I could select, I think this wouldn't be used by the player, it would be used by the game. Like, if I can select this whole room, that's funky and not exactly what I wanted, but what about this? Like this. Like, I think it would be cool to apply these kind of overlays. We could do them more subtly, and it would be kind of like the oxygen overlay for, like, FTL. Like, you could apply it to signal something, because all it does, this selection is awkward because all it can do is overlay on something that already exists. Whereas this new selection overlay we're going to use can exist independently because it's opaque. So like if we select this kind of boxed shape, the selection doesn't actually need to conform to the shape of the box. It could actually look like this or something, or like this, whether it's active or passive. And I like this. This interferes a lot less with the visuals. And so, yeah, I definitely want to switch to this, and that's what we're working on. And now we got to do the back face of these. Valheim came out of nowhere. What a masterpiece. Yeah, my group started out in like January of 2021. It was like, you know, no one was hanging out in person, really. Our D&D group had died, you know, because we just didn't want to play over Discord. But we played a lot of games over Discord. Like I played the Amnesia series, and we would stream it like in the server, and it would just be me getting scared and playing Amnesia in a dark room. I should have started my Twitch streaming then. But instead we were just doing it in voice, and we were like, let's play Valheim. And Valheim was still like very early access. I mean, it's still early access or whatever. It's not technically done yet, but it was great. So then we played, and we keep coming back to it every time they put out a new major update. And yeah, that's probably been the best co-op games experience of my life, has been playing Valheim over the last few years with my old D&D group. We're all close friends. We're not like just a D&D group. That's just the best way to explain it. Explain it. So what I could do, if we believe this to be accurate, I could take this, throw this over here. Make a copy of this. Oh, there's a problem here. Did I do this wrong? Oh no, this is below. No, that actually maps correctly. Okay. I need to make sure I'm not accidentally overdrawing these. I feel like there's a risk that I overdraw these, but you know, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Contrast is so low, though. I'm kind of having a hard time seeing all of this. Nice Bart Simpson mug. Thank you, Fanny Slam. Yeah, it's really good. It's Bart on the front, like this, and then on the back it says it's him saying don't have a cow, man. Very sweet. This was a gift from a friend a long time ago. I treasure it. And yeah, it's always, whenever I pick it up, it's reminding me not to have a cow, man. Closest thing I have to a therapist. Arneo, Valheim is the only open world game where all the 1,000+ little things you can pick up magically have a reason for existing. Oh yeah. Valheim is incredible. I don't know if we'll know it's like again. They really showed what you could do with just like shaders and lighting in terms of making a game that looks incredible without being like incredibly expensive to have produced. So is this wrong? Oh, I need to go lower is the lesson. Lesson of this. How low can you go? Get rid of that. Penny Slam. Oh, I see. On your monitor, your phone case, your bedside table, every little place you have stickers that say it's fine. They remind you that no matter the current stress, it's fine. That's funny. You have like the dog on fire, that this is fine. Hey, Rhiannon, you never played Valheim? You have to keep it that way, otherwise no one will see you for months. Oh yeah, that's a game that you would. I'm sure that game is fine to play solo, but it's a very different game. That game is like meant to be a cooperative experience. It's like, it's pretty hard to fight the bosses solo. It's doable. You have to get really into the animal taming system if you want to pull that off, and it's a lot harder. So it definitely can be played solo, but yeah. That's me right now with Slay the Spire 2. I'm like very purposely pretending that Slay the Spire 2 doesn't exist. Because if I acknowledged that it existed, I would have a problem. It literally is the "this is fine" dog. That's funny. Your friend. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I like that. I like the way you personalize that. Sorry for the weird color clashing here. I swear these are the best colors I have right now for this. I really don't like my palette. I mean, it's nice in some ways, but I'm pretty deeply tempted to just start using other people's palettes for stuff. I'm like, I don't love... I built this very mechanically, and I'm like kind of okay with the color, the way the colors ramp and kind of twist a little, but I feel like it's a never-ending task to make that better, and I don't like have it in me. Keep working on it. I would just much rather use built-in palettes that other people have made. I think I'm going to switch to the Zenit 241 palette for Lo-Fi Flyby. And obviously, it's not like I have to make the whole game using just that palette. I can like mix and match. But you got to pick your battles carefully as a solo dev. And I think that's a battle I don't want to fight. I'm not an artist in the sense of I don't understand color theory and I don't know how to do this shit. I have a hard enough time just drawing little pixels on the screen. I don't want to be thinking about the color wheel. Yeah, one of your main video games just released new characters and you just don't have time to play them. Yeah, that's tough. It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't really play a lot of games, to be honest. I've had Rusty's Retirement playing in the background a lot because I've been researching it. But I play Mechabellum, which is like an auto battler because I have friends that play it. And it's kind of a nice, like, just don't think too hard, just kind of like, it's a good game that you can knock out in like 20 minutes and like have an experience and feel like you got it. But yeah, I find that I mostly play games because I'm playing with friends. I really don't have time for like big, meaty solo game experiences nowadays. And it's usually not what I want. Usually I would rather just put on a movie, turn my brain off. Maybe that's kind of why I've been interested in idle games so much lately. I've been just very vibes forward in what I want to consume in terms of games. I hate that the word vibes is probably ruined now forever. Be very careful how I use it. But we're not going to open that whole can of worms. I had someone lamenting the death of the little sparkly graphic, the little 2-star sparkly graphic. They used it everywhere, and I was like, you have to stop using that graphic. Like, that means something nowadays. You can't just throw up the like 2 or 3 sparkle, the 2 sparkle together thing, the 2-star sparkle. That means like a very explicit, not explicit, but that means a very specific thing now in this new age. Can't just throw it in. Did I capture everything? No, I gotta do another. How do I do this? Oh, I see. Yeah, I gotta do one more layer. Sparkly slop, best slop. Yeah, I know. It's like, it's funny that like a whole terms and buttons and like this stuff just like has been just, I mean, you can't fight it. Reclaim vibes. Yeah, I wish. You said you're gunning for like the June Next Fest. Is that right? Is that right, nerds? That's what I thought you said the other day. That's very exciting, if that's accurate. I'm just trying to have a Steam page up by June. That feels like a big lift. Us? You're doing... Oh, you're doing October. Okay. I must have been talking to someone else who's aiming for the June one. You're aiming for October? Okay, that sounds more reasonable. That sounds more reasonable. I'm hoping by October I have a trailer. I'm hoping... So let's see. Q2 is April, May, June. That means 3 is August, September, October. And then... That's not right. July, October, August, July, August, September. Okay, so I'm trying to have a store page up by June, a trailer out by September, and a demo up in December. That's kind of my... I have 3 things on my to-do list, and I've decided to give them each a quarter. The Steam page one is going to be funny for reasons that I probably shouldn't go into, but we essentially need to mock up the screenshots. So we have to include 5 screenshots in the coming soon store page, but it's not like you can play anything right now. So I'm going to have to mock up the actual like finished like game presentation and UI stuff so that we can include screenshots of the game. I don't think that's a huge problem. It's a pixel art game, so I literally can mock up what the final presentation is going to look like. All right, so these have so these do have differing back faces to front faces as well. So that's important to keep in mind. Okay, so at least this tessellates cleanly. You're trying to get a nice trailer in the next couple of months. You need to get wish lists coming in. Yeah, we need to get you some wish lists. Get that wish list count. That's why I'm like gonna jam everything out just to mock up a Steam page, because I don't have anywhere to send anyone. I have my Discord for like, you know, the most hardcore people to come hang out, but really need something more substantial than that. Let's see, how do we do this? How do we have room to do all of this? So first thing, these are all going away. Oh, not the oops. Danny Slam, you remember in school you had to design the website for the quote-unquote client before you could make it? You always got so impatient, you just wanted to make it. But in the real world, it makes sense. Yeah, in the real world, all that does is it just saves you a lot of effort. Because clients are so unpredictable, and they're changeable. And they have no idea what you're doing, so they have no idea what the costs involved are. Yeah, my partner, I don't do any independent, like I don't do any contract work for anything, but my partner does. My partner's like a designer, and she's always doing a bunch of freelance work, and dealing with the clients is such a pain in the ass. And you just think that you know what they want, and then they change their mind. Because depending on how big they might be like a company, and they might have multiple quote-unquote stakeholders, and they don't agree, and they should be doing the art direction, but they never are. It always ends up being the freelancer that ends up doing the art direction. It's annoying. See you, nerds. Thanks, nerds. Really appreciate you hanging out. Anytime. Have a great rest of your weekend. Why can't I erase this? What did I do? Literally, why can't I erase this? The heck is happening? Am I having a stroke? Can't I erase anything? Oh, because I'm snapping to grid. Okay. like what the heck is going on? Snap to grid. You gotta reinstall Project Zomboid again? Ugh. You didn't know you were thought of as hardcore? Oh yeah, Arneo. You're the hardest core. No, I love my ride or dies. I think y'all are great. We need something we need some way to, when someone expresses interest in the game that's more passive, like they come in and they watch me do a game jam or they see the stream and they're like, oh, that's interesting. I would like to play an FTL-like in Godot. We need somewhere to send them. We need a way of capturing the people who are interested in the game that aren't necessarily, you know, game devs and stuff. And the best way to do that is wish lists. I know you're being facetious, but it is a serious concern. Some of the biggest criticism that I always get for my streaming and stuff, people are always like, oh, but isn't it just game devs? Like, are you really reaching your market? And it's like, I don't understand. I don't understand the problem. It's like, but yeah, we also need a Steam page up. In April, that's going to become my thing that we're paying attention to. I think next week I'm going to finally make a Steamworks account, and we're going to finally look at the release checklist for a Steam page, for a store presence, as they call it, for a coming soon store presence. And we're going to download that checklist, and we are just going to jam it out. It's like capsule art, a bunch of other stuff. It's 5 screenshots, so we're going to need to be mocking up like finished game pieces, like what the game actually looks like, what it will actually look like to play. And then we need to figure stuff out, like the logo, the title. There's a lot of exciting stuff to work on in Q2. And then Q3 we'll figure out how to make the minimum viable trailer. And then Q3 we'll put together a demo, or Q4 we'll put together a demo. Which, a demo for an idle game is actually pretty easy. You just make a bunch of icons for items that the players can't unlock. You just suggest that there's more content there than it is. then you just make it happen. You know, after the demo comes out, you just add on to that. Hey, K-Cug, yo, what's up? What's up? I'm sorry. I was raised to respond to that. That's like a millennial trigger, I feel. Someone's like, what's up? And you're like, what's up? How's it going, K-Cog? Happy Saturday. Oh, pink flashbang. Yeah, what's up, Fanny Slam? What's up? I don't know what's wrong with us. I don't know what was wrong with us, but clearly it's still wrong. Whatever it was, we didn't fix. Watching the game, having a bud. Nice. Nice, Remus. All right, so this one's done. This one's easy. This is corners only. Oh, I actually didn't finish this one. Left, right. What was it? This. Is it halfway? No. Like this. Oops. On the left. Same thing, other side. All right, there we go. That looks weird. But it's correct. Right? Oh, are these identical? I don't know what I'm talking about. We got it. All right, now we just gotta finish these ones. Let's take these Z textures and duplicate them here. Coming up on our 3rd hour. I might go a little over time because I kind of want to wrap this part up. Appreciate everyone hanging out here with me today. I know we're in kind of an awkward in-between, and, you know, maybe not the most incredible content I've ever produced, but got exciting times on the horizon here. All right, let's correct these. So I think these are right, almost, not quite. So these need to change to be like that, and like that, and like this. Same thing here. And then we just need to do the side pieces here for the front. We got front, back, top, bottom. There are some savings we could make here because some of these are identical. I could probably drop the grid. I don't need to see that right now. So we need the side bits. All right, two on the top, 2 on the bottom. Like that and like that. Yeah, this is what we were looking for. This kind of clean tessellation. And did it involve a little compromise? Yeah. But it's much preferable to something like this, which has like a varying pattern. Although I definitely need to figure out how I'm going to draw objects with varying patterns. That's definitely a thing. which is fine. We could add support for it eventually. But it's for now, it's much preferable to have just a pattern that tessellates super cleanly and doesn't need complex pattern matching. All right, and now for the outside. It's also 2, but in a slightly different position. It's like this. It's like this. Like this. Easy. GG easy. This reverse side will be identical. Strong argument to just somehow... Actually, does the canvas item texture functions let us do this? Give me my draw functions here. Not that one, but draw. I need to set up more of these debug drawer layers. That'd be really helpful, actually. LCD subpixel anti-aliasing. Incredible. There's so many. The draw functions here are so powerful. We are generally interested in is, I believe, draw texture rect region. And all I wanted to do, I just wanted to see if we had an option here. Texture rect, source rect, modulate, transpose. If transpose is true, the texture will have its X and Y coordinates swapped. Neat. Explain this more in draw rect. Thought you were going to mention transpose. You don't mention transposed here at all. If we want, what we could do is I think we could use transpose for just handling situations like this where it's literally just the flipped version. So like we don't need this and this. We could theoretically just call this and transpose it. That's probably also true here, sort of. The answer is emphasis on sort of. Yeah, it is true, actually. That's tempting. That's tempting. I don't know how much space that would actually save us in practice. And it doesn't work if we actually want to maintain some kind of, like, if we don't necessarily want to mirror a texture. For these outlines, it totally makes sense. And it's nice to be able to have that tool. I would need to record whether we were transposing something or not. So that would be a field we need to record, but it could work. It could be desirable. I don't know if it is necessarily, but it could be. So I have this. What's this for? Oh, the back faces, right? This one. All right, we're in ads. Sorry for running an ad break here right at the end, but I want to go a little longer. Maybe not like a huge amount longer. I want to finish drawing these out. I don't necessarily need to arrange them. Get your ad rev. Thanks, Fanny. Yeah, get the extra like nickel they're gonna give me. That's actually probably more than I would get from running an ad. Tuppence, maybe tuppence for an ad break. Tuppence for an ad. Alright, so this one is what we do next, the back faces. Did I do all of these on the same layer again? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm an idiot. Wrong layer Dave strikes again. The heck is this? Get out of there. What layer are these on? Dang it. Oh my god, I'm the worst. Alright. 2 cents for you. Don't spill it and spend it all at once. Oh, I'll split it up. Penny here, penny there. I'll buy a couple of penny stocks. All right, back faces, back faces. So this one, 4 up, 3 over from the corner. Like that. Two above. That's 3 above. How did I get that wrong? There we go. Oh, this needs to be like this. How's this now? Actually, is it like that? Who's responsible for that? Actually, I think I do need to add these. Does that mean you need to draw these? No, because you're going to be... It does mean I maybe need to put this one here. Not do that. Do this either. I don't think I need to do that. I've decided I'm not going to do that. 4 up, 3 over from the edge. Okay. Oh, hold on a second. So you're going to be 1 down. Yeah. And then 3 up. that more than it's supposed to be? It's supposed to be 5? Oh, I guess it is. Okay. Appreciate everyone hanging out today. Oh, what's going on here? That looks right. So in theory, this other one should be identical, just in reverse order. We're going to test that. This isn't right, is it? This doesn't seem right. Oh, it's because the double is supposed to be here, not here. Yeah, this really is just the reversed version. It's pretty easy. This looks wrong though. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, five total. I see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh shoot! Did I paint in any grays? I did. Erase that. It's looking like a creature. 4-eyed creature. Great deep sea beast. Oh, dang it. Yet again. Wrong layer, Dave. I'm having a good time. Appreciate everyone hanging out. I know I say that a lot. Still true. All right, last little set of Z face outlines, and then I think we'll be done with this for now. Except this one, this set. Is that it? Okay, so these Z faces are not identical, but that's only because of the dotted line. So that's reasonable. All right, what we got here. Just this. I think that's it. I think that's what we need. That's all we need here. I do have to reorganize this in a way that doesn't make me hate everything. It's a bit of a conundrum. So what is this for? Is this the new selection array? Yeah, these are the tiles for the corner only, which is like this one, you know, the corner only stuff. And then we also have like the dotted ruler stuff. And these are the tiles for the dotted, the ruled selection outline. So when you click and hold, and you move around like you're boxing, this dotted line will show up over the bounding box of what you select. And I think it'll be nice because it'll do what we've I think what was originally one of your ideas, which is the selection thing should have like a ruler to it so you can actually count. And we can count because each one of these big square ones represents a horizontal tile. So you can say 1, 2, 3. Similarly, each of these ones represents a vertical tile. So you can say 1, 2, 3. So it should help you count when you're actively selecting. It should help you count the size of the thing that you're selecting. And then when you let go, it'll switch to one of these so that it's just a little less busy. So when you're actively pulling it around, it'll look, you know, more involved. And then when you let go, it will switch to this so that it is less involved and obscures the art a lot less than our current semi-transparent mask. Which for the semi-transparent mask, we can only mask over something that's already been drawn. But these can operate independently. So these can be drawn over areas that aren't already tiled. So these will be nice for the selection. We'll still use those other overlays, but it's going to be for like compartment effects, I think, for like oxygen or something else. Maybe if you're about to take damage there or something, or maybe it'll just be a red alert mask. That'd be cool. Like an idea for a lighting mask or something, a primitive one. We can still use the other overlays whenever we need an overlay, but this is meant to be something a little different than that. Can't wait to see it. Yeah. Yeah, it was similar, your ruler, except you also suggested having a number above and on the side. Yeah, I think we're not going to do that. We might add that in as maybe an accessibility option in the block editor or something. Like, I could see people wanting that. Or we could have like a widget in the corner that like tells you the dimensions of the thing that you're boxing or something. Like, I could see wanting that. But I think in most cases, the numbers that we're going to deal with are so small. Like, you're not going to be in a position where you're like, was that 37 or 36 tiles that I overlaid? I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's usually going to be like, is that 3 or 4? I think that's all you're going to really care about. So yeah, I think of the numbers that we're going to be dealing with, we won't need that, but I think that's a good idea still to have as an option for people. Yeah. We should be able to program this in next stream, which will be the last day of March, Tuesday the 31st. I would like to finish this because this is kind of a stupid side random thing that I've worked on, and then I think we need to get serious. Then I think it's time to get serious. Starting April 1st. I think the fool needs to get serious here. But yeah, I'm going to arrange this into a pleasing like texture map. I'm going to figure out how it aligns with our auto tiler mapping. Because we have to figure out how it aligns with our auto tiler mapping. Because there's the auto tiler mapping, and then there's the texture atlas mapping, and there's a conversion we do between the two. And we need to figure that out, but I can do that. That's boring. That's the sort of thing where you just stare at this and it's like a tile moving game. Because this is an awkward ass number of tiles. There's like 9 tiles, and then another 9 tiles, which are just mirrors of the first 9 tiles. So it's like, do you actually want to include the mirrors, or do you want to transpose? I think we'll include the mirrors because I think the transposition has such limited usefulness compared to the number of times we'll actually have like a directionality to the thing, and we don't necessarily want to mirror it, but who knows? Who knows? But yeah, we have an awkward number of tiles to sort out. This is a little cleaner because this is just corners. I think this one will be really easy. But yeah, our texture function, our texture drawing function technically allows us to transpose, which I think is interesting. I'm interested to experiment with that. Next stream on the 31st, no Monday. There's never a Monday stream, Nix. You should know this. Unless we're jamming. If we're game jamming, there's sometimes a Monday stream. But that would be the only reason. We stream Tuesday through Saturday for now. Nix? It's midnight in 5 minutes. You're tired. Yeah, I mean, for you, I guess maybe, you know, it's unclear. Time is but a construct. Nix, it would be awesome if you could add in planning boxes later on. Oh, you mean like RimWorld planning boxes? Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. They'd be invisible in normal gameplay, but in the editor show where you want to set up your ship. Also let people make their own ships in game still. You remember mentioning. Yeah, I think the editor would be useful. Yeah, you're talking about it, setting up smaller systems or whatever, or depot. Yeah, I think the editor interface will be used for all sorts of stuff. It could be used for cargo management, right? But it's different than like actively editing it. You could just be like, I want you to move the cargo from here to here. And it's like someone actually has to do that. But from an editor standpoint, you could just show what it would look like if you moved the cargo. And the same thing with like installing a robot, right? You're like, oh, let me install a repair bot. And you need to pick like an open wall terminal that has like a slot for a repair bot or something. You can pick which one, whatever. Like, or a cargo loader too. Like, yeah, I think we'll definitely have, I think the utility of that would be nice. I don't think you're going to be able to build your own ship in Lo-Fi Flyby from scratch. Maybe for a mod, we'd let people introduce their own versions of ships, because you know that would, people would love that shit, right? Yeah. I could see that. I can definitely see that. You thought Lo-Fi Flyby is only the small corner game? Yeah, it is. But, you know, you could imagine the main game is Digital Iliad. The main game does not have an official title. It was originally Digital Iliad, but that is becoming increasingly unsustainable. I don't have a better name, so it might still be that, but it's we're starting to create brand confusion, which I know you thrive on. But for me, I'm having some issues. But we're just focusing on Lo-Fi Flyby for now. But yeah, you could imagine using a similar interface to the block editor for cargo management, for decorating, right? Because like Lo-Fi Flyby is going to be big on decorating, you know, making your ship your own. And that's not like, you won't be able to reposition a hull block, but you could, you know, put up a poster, or, you know, move your bunk around or something. I don't know. Arneo, you're ready to get serious? By that, you mean you're ready for me to get serious? How gracious of you. You're not ready for April, though? I know, it's soon. It's soon. Confusion is best. Yeah, be unpredictable. Be unpredictable. Being unpredictable is the first step to being ungovernable. And, you know, that's something we should all strive for, right? Well, this is episode 335 of Digital Iliad. The game dev comedy stream of me. Yeah, this was also our 401st stream. That doesn't mean anything, but it sounds nice. I think I'll wrap it up here. I know we went a little extra long today, but it was good. It was fun. I know it's been quiet too, and it's also all right. We had fun. We had fun today. Yeah, we'll be back Tuesday to close out March. Only 177 episodes left until I got to finish the map editor. Yeah, I hope I don't use all of those. I'm not planning on using all of that, but appreciate that it's there. Thanks for the stream. Thank you, Rhiannon, Journey, Arneo, Nix, Rimas. It wouldn't be a stream without you all. Seriously, it really wouldn't. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.